There are a couple of important upgrades in Tears of the Kingdom that you really don't want to skip. One will let you use constructs for a lot longer, while the other provides amazing armor upgrades and completely new effects. The problem is, these are tied to certain side quests that are easily missable, so in this video we'll go over the whole process to get them super quick and super easy. The first ones are the energy wells, which are basically the battery charges that get consumed when using devices. The problem is that you start with only 3, which is not going to be nearly enough to power anything complex more than a few feet. So to get extra energy cell charges, you need to perform these upgrades at something called crystal refineries. There are 2 easily accessible ones super early, including this one in the starting Sky Islands right next to the Nochoya shrine, which you get access to by talking to the construct in front of it. But there's also one just outside of the lookout landing, with possibly more scattered throughout the game. It doesn't matter which one you go for, they all pretty much do the exact same thing. Now, for each energy well, you need 100 crystallized charges that you have to gift these constructs so that they can produce one of these wells for you. The first and the most straightforward is to buy them from any forge, such as the one in the Great Abandoned Central Mine, where you also got the auto-build power in exchange for the Zonaite crystals you get in the depths region below Hyrule. These Zonaites are pretty abundant in the depths, and you can get them from pretty much all sources here. Mostly there are lots of these mineral deposits that once you break, they will give you a bunch. Enemies also drop a lot of these, with tougher encounters and bosses dropping the highest amount, up to 20 each. That's why as you explore, I recommend marking some of these camps or encounters, as you can refarm them later as they constantly respawn. The second method is to just open up the treasure chests that you'll find in the depths region, specifically the ones around the other abandoned mines as you encounter through it. These larger variants equal to 20 of the normal ones, and not only that, but you can also find old maps up into the Sky Islands randomly that will show up locations marked in the depths so that you can reach these treasures a lot easier. But once you've got a few of the Zonaites you got from the sources I told you, go ahead at the forge and exchange them for the crystallized charges displayed on these 2 shelves. The exchange ratio here is 3:1, where 3 Zonaites will buy you 1 crystallized charge. This means if you want a whole upgrade that costs 100 charges, you will need 300 of the smaller Zonite crystals to buy these. However, you don't have to wait until you have exactly 300 Zonaites in your stash, since you'll get plenty of the large Zonaites as well from the same sources. So with the large variants, you can actually buy the large crystallized charges on the left side at the exact same ratio of 3:1. But since these equal to 20 charges each, buying just 4 for example already gives me 80. Now this whole process will take some time, as there's going to be a lot of wells and a lot of extra charges that you can apply to your battery power. So in the case of exploring the depths, I recommend using the miner's armor in the area, especially since 2 of its pieces are relatively early in it. So the top can be found in the Daphne's Canyon mine, just a bit southwest of the second light route that you open in the area. You will find it around these ruins in this chest right in the middle. The trousers are not too far off in the Hylia Canyon mine, just a bit southwest of the Great Abandoned Central Mine. In the middle of this ruin, you will find another chest that gives you that piece. With 3 pieces, you'll now have a pretty extended range for your light, so that you don't have to constantly place these light routes everywhere to see around you. And should make navigation a lot easier until you unlock more light routes to really open up the area. Now the next ones are going to be the armor upgrades, and the advantage you get from them is absolutely crazy. Not only do they increase the defense rating on gear, but for many of the pieces you can also unlock their true potential and gain extra buffs on top of the ones that come in by default. For this, you'll have to complete a specific chain of side quests that unlocks the 4 great fairy fountains around the map, and the more you unlock them, the more you can upgrade your gear up to the maximum. So to start this whole process, you first need to become a reporter for the Lucky Clover Gazette, which you do by talking to Tracy right here in the tent next to Rito Village, which also opens up the potential princess sighting side quest. Once you do that, you can now follow the chain involving the fairies, which will first bring you to the woodland stables, not too far off from the lookout landing area, just a bit northeast of it. Now once you're here at the stables, talk to Pan and these two musicians, which will reveal the location of a nearby fairy. However, to reach that location, you need to transport them via this wagon that you first need to repair by placing the wheels back on it. For this, you will also need a horse with a towing harness, but fortunately by now you should have one, as it's literally the first reward that you get once you've acquired 3 pony points. Like I said in previous videos, you get these whenever you unlock a new stable or register a new horse, so just do that 3 times and you will literally get it. Now once that's done, attach that to the wagon, talk to the maestro, and it's time to move on. And from here, it's a simple 1-minute drive up the nearby hills to the fountain, and once you reach here, they will start playing their tune. At this point, the fairy will finally come out, and this will unlock 2 things. The first one is she will mark the locations for the remaining 3 fairies close to the stables all around the map of Hyrule. And second, it opens up the first level of upgrades for your armor, so you can literally start upgrading right away. Each armor has its own requirements and not all can be upgraded, so do keep that in mind. Now to make the whole quest chain quicker, the next I recommend going for is the fairy close to the Snowfield stables right here in the Hebra Mountains. Talking to Maestro will reveal they've lost Eustace, the horn player, a while ago and point towards the Tabantha Bridge stables as his last known location. However, you can make this a lot quicker by simply clicking on the side quest in the main menu, which will reveal exactly where he is, so you don't have to keep searching. Once at the location, you'll have plenty of flame emitters and balloons that you can quickly use on the wagon to get it out of the crater. Once outside, Eustace will thank you and give you 3 Courser Bee honey. Keep these in your inventory for now at all costs, as these will let you instantly complete one of the other missions in the same chain. But from this point on, Eustace will also return to the Snowfield stables, so go back and continue the chain. From here, talk to Maestro for the last objective, which is basically to reach the fairy nearby. Again, they will need to be transported via the wagon, but since the weather isn't great, you will also want to place a cover on top to protect them from the snow. Once done, simply again grab them and go up the mountains all the way to the ferry, and once it comes out, it will now tell you that it can enhance your armor a fair amount, which basically means up to 2 stars. The third one is a bit more complicated, but you start this at the outskirts stables at the southeast of central Hyrule. For this, you'll have to find Piper, who plays at the flute, and the quest marker will indicate his location is near the Highland stables in Faron. If you pay attention to the nearby trees, you'll actually spot him at the top of one right next to the stables, so quickly climb up and start the conversation. This will start a mini quest in the area where you'll have to find 10 sunset fireflies for Piper. Luckily, there's a large forest just north of the stables, but you'll have to set the game during the nighttime and search for the fireflies during it. So go ahead, you should find plenty of these and grab 10 quickly by being crouched, since this avoids them from being scared away. Once done, simply give Piper the fireflies, which is going to give you one final objective, and that is to ask Haite, who is inside of the stables, to follow you back at the same tree during the night. Piper will play his final tune, and once that's done, we'll head back to the outskirts stables, so should you. Your final objectives for this part is to basically go back, talk to the musician once more, and this is going to require you to build an off-road vehicle so that you can reach the otherwise inaccessible fairy fountain. And once that's done, the Great Fairy will tell you she can now greatly enhance your clothing, which is basically going up to rank 3. And this, ladies and gents, brings us to the fourth and final one, which is right here at the Dueling Peaks stables, again where you have to talk to the band to start the final part. For this, you'll need to find their drummer, so once again, just make use of the side quest selection in the main menu, which is going to point exactly where they are, right here a bit southeast of the Kakariko village. However, once you talk to the drummer, he'll tell you he needs 3 Courser Bee honey, which it so happens you got literally from one of the previous guys we just helped, so this is going to instantly complete it, and you can go back at the Dueling Peak stables for the rest of the band. Now, to help the band reach the fairy in this area, you will now have to build a raft to go through the river nearby. My suggestion is to make it float better, which is done by placing rails on each side, kind of like if you were building a hover raft. Once done, the fairy will tell you your gear can now be upgraded to the maximum, which includes getting some bonus benefits that normally the gear doesn't have until you fully upgrade them. And this is basically how you will get to fully upgrade your gear to the maximum. Again, not all sets can go to that, and even more, not all can unlock their true potential, but some can and can get some really strong benefits on top, or buffs that can change how you play. We will of course cover these in future videos, but you can expect stuff like not even getting fall damage when jumping from the sky with, for example, the gliding set, and there's a few more examples in there that we'll talk about in future videos. In the meantime, this is pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.